Hello everyone and welcome to the latest episode of Book Time with Elvis with me, Mark. I hope you're all doing very well. Forgive the lighting, it's a dark, miserable day here. It's 11 o'clock in the morning, can you believe it? It's Wednesday and it's a public holiday here in the Czech Republic. It's to celebrate Freedom and Democracy Day and the end of communism back in 1989. So we get a day off for it, but unfortunately, as I say, the weather's not too great and it's quite dark. So I'm coming to you today on a Wednesday rather than a Tuesday with a tag, and I was very lucky actually. I've been tagged in quite a few things recently, probably because I complained about not being tagged for a while. I've now got a couple and some really good ones to do. But today I thought I'd start off with an original tag created by Sandy Misreads a Lot, which is the 1001 book tag. Of course, I'll link to her channel below, and she's based it off the 1001 books that she wants to read before she dies. I believe it's, I don't know if she's going off a book or some other list, but this is a challenge she's been undertaking. So let's jump in with the prompts. The first one, 1001 lists. Do you follow any book lists? It can be a prize list or a challenge like Rory Gilmore's challenge. I don't actually know Rory Gilmore's challenge what it is, but I don't think that matters. Do I follow any book lists? Not really. I do look at people's want to read lists and read lists on their Goodreads pages. I find that very interesting. There are a few people I like to drop in and see kind of what they've been reading and what they think about certain books, certainly if it's something that appeals to me. So I follow those kind of informal lists really on Goodreads, but I don't follow anything, any of those particular kind of lists like, you've got to read these books before you die, or the 100 best British authors list or something like this. I don't. Next, 1001 books. Approximately how many physical books do you currently own, and how many ebooks? I have to estimate really on this. I'll go with books that I've got physically with me rather than what I own and left in various places in the world. I think I have over 220 books with me currently, and that's a big jump, say, on what it would have been before I actually started booktubing. So I've started to rebuild my library such as it is, and I think it's over 220, but that's an approximation really. How many ebooks? Well, that is I can't really count that. I would say it's in the thousands. I have somehow acquired a load of ebooks, many of them free. I went through a stage of getting a load of the free classics and public domain books and things like that. So I would say I have quite a lot of ebooks. Next, 1001 books read. Approximately how many books have you read in your lifetime? Do you keep track? Not really. I started keeping track probably in the last 3 to 4 years, maybe, when I joined Goodreads, and I almost always tick off what I've read when I do that. It's I think on Goodreads itself it's over 300 and something, but that, as I say, is pretty much since I've been doing Goodreads, so that's within about 4 years. I average probably between 50 and 60 books a year, I would say, but not since I've been reading. But I would be surprised if it wasn't over 1,000 or something like that. I don't think it would be. It could well be more, actually. I really have no idea. It would be very hard to guess, because, while you're at university, you read a lot, for writing your papers and your thesis. I certainly didn't keep track of everything I read there, maybe. So it might well be more. I don't know. Sorry about that. Next, 1001 Arabian Nights. Have you read any stories from the Arabian Nights? And do you have a favourite? If you haven't read it, do you want to? Well, I have read it. And I find it very enjoyable. I think a couple of my favorite stories. I mean, the main story about what's her name? I can't say it. Sherazadeh, is it? Is of course very interesting. How she keeps the Sultan from killing her or getting tired of her by keeping his interest up throughout all the different stories. And of the stories themselves, I think I like the fisherman and the jinn or genie, which is a story of a fisherman who goes out fishing, finds a copper pot, and inside is a genie. The genie is not too happy and is vowed to kill whoever released him. I think, if I remember rightly, it's a few years ago now. But somehow the fisherman tricks the genie into going back into the pot, and then the genie, of course, is upset, and he promises the fisherman great riches if he will release him. I think he does it by like filling up a lake with a load of fish, and the fisherman's able to sell that fish onto his sultan, and I think they become friends, if I remember rightly, and there's some kind of stone prince who's half stone. I think his lower body has been turned to stone and all that kind of stuff. And the one I also liked as a kid, and it was probably a story I knew before I even read the official book or the books, because I think I read Penguin edition. I think it was like 2 or 3 volumes. But the one I really liked growing up was the Alibaba and the 40 Thieves, and that's because I had like one of those thin Ladybird volumes, and they had like little illustrations in there. And I remember when the thieves had been outwitted and tricked into climbing into these kind of clay or terracotta pots that I think they ended up getting cooked, but it was such a great illustration with them kind of in there and like these little eyes poking out the top of the lids. It was pretty cool. Next, 1001 Flavors. Do you have a favorite food or flavor? Gosh. Well, I like my food, as you can probably see. I really enjoy spicy food. I don't necessarily mean spice with heat, but foods with quite diverse and exciting flavors. So I do like a lot of Indian food. And Asian food, Chinese, different regional Chinese foods and things like that, things that I really enjoy. A good bit of, even sushi, for example. I really enjoy that, the freshness of it, the cleanliness on your palate, that kind of thing. It's really, really enjoyable for me. Next, 1001 Pages. Have you read a book that is over 1001 pages? Is there one that you recommend and is worth the time? And what is the longest book you have read? I think this would all come under the same book, and that is Alexandre Dumas' The Count of Monte Cristo. I think it's 1,200 or so pages. It's definitely worth the time. I read it about 3 summers ago, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, and it was well worth it. And I would completely recommend it. And probably it is the longest book I've ever read as a single volume book. I've read some kind of academic books that could have been in like huge volumes, but they were split up into 2 or 3 different volumes. So yeah, I would go with The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas. 1001 Buckets. Do you have a non-bookish bucket list? What is one thing on the list? I don't really. I've been very lucky, I think, in my life that I've been able to travel a lot and live in a few different countries. And I feel in that respect I've done almost all that I wanted to do. I mean, maybe there, of course, are a few places left to see. But, I've settled down now. I've got a dog and I'm building a house here. And that would be on my bucket list, to get the house built, to get a nice little garden going with some fruit trees, little vegetable plot, that kind of thing, and just kind of have a quieter life living in the Eagle Mountains here in the Czech Republic with Elvis, and some books and some I don't know, making jam and that kind of stuff, possibly not very exciting, but it's something that I'll look forward to doing anyway, for sure. Next, 1001 numbers. Do you have a lucky number? Is there a story behind it? I had a lucky number, which since became my unlucky number. So when I was a kid, my lucky number was 4, and I can't really tell you why. I don't remember. But I always thought number 4 was very lucky until I went to live in Japan and then later Hong Kong, where in both cultures, Chinese and Japanese, the number 4 is unlucky. Considered unlucky because the pronunciation of the word, for example, in Japanese, you can say it 2 ways, yon or shi, and the shi pronunciation is close to that pronunciation of death. So therefore, it's taken on this kind of unlucky stigma. And I don't know, somehow I kind of got to believing that it was unlucky as well while I was there. And so now for me, I try to avoid things with the number 4 in, which is it's kind of crazy. I have to say, it is almost like an OCD. I try to rise above it when possible, but like I don't like it when there's a 4 in the length of my video, for example, even though there may well be today. There's not much I can do about that, I suppose. And even like, having 4 likes on a video, for example, I would prefer to have 3 or 5. But I'm just mad in that way, I suppose. So there you go. 1001 authors. Do you have a favorite author or genre or genre? It's hard to say favorite authors. I mean, there are a few of them. There are a few authors that I just would read anything by them. And I'm always excited when I see they've brought a new book out. One of them that I used to really love was William Boyd, but I kind of stopped reading his stuff, I suppose, in the early 2000s. I think I'd gone through a spate of reading like 8 or 9 books he had written, and they were great, and then finally one wasn't, and then he just kind of maybe, from my point of view, lost his way or went off the path of stuff that I found interesting. So like I love the new confessions that he wrote, Ice Cream War, Good Man in Africa. They were great. But then I think it was things like around the time of Any Human Heart, maybe something like that. I just couldn't get into it. And I don't know. Maybe I've got the wrong name. I don't remember now. And I'm sorry I didn't research it. But I'm sure if any of you know, you'll point it out. And favorite genre, I do love my non-fiction. And I do really enjoy historical fiction as well. So yeah, definitely those would be my 2 favorite genres. 1001 activities. Do you have a favorite outdoor activity? Yes, that would be just walking with Elvis. We don't have the chance to go on big long walks so much during the week because I'm working. He still goes on big long walks during the week because I have a very kind friend who's retired, and she goes walking, and she said it doesn't make sense, of course, for her to just go walking by herself. So she very kindly takes Elvis with her when I'm at work. But when we get the chance, I really enjoy just him and I spending some time alone, with his ball and just out and about. It's really lovely. 1001 book clubs. Not a prompt, but a question for the comments. Should I start a 1001 book club with a book a month for a read-along? So I guess Sandy's asking here whether she should start this 1001 book club and nominate 1 book each month for a read-along. I would say, Sandy, if you're watching, I would say go for it, yeah. I mean, the beauty about that is if you nominate a book a month and people know in advance, then people can opt in and opt out where they want. And certainly I'm sure there'll be something that, people will want to read every month. Maybe not the same people, but I think that's a lovely idea. Why not go for it? Next one, 10 plus 0 and friends. Tag some friends. Okay, so Sandy, of course, tagged a load of people because she, originated this tag. I'm going to tag a few if they haven't been tagged by any of these other people, which they may well have been. I don't know. I've seen a few other people do it, but I'll go with Summer, Cozy Reading with Quaker Cats, Vin, Revenant Reads, MJ at Reading This Life, Erin Facer, and Greg at Another Bibliophile Reads. So those will be the ones that I tag, and of course, if you don't want to do it, you don't have to, but I think it's a lovely tag, and Sandy made, put the effort in, and it's a bit of fun, and I don't think it, takes too long either. So thank you everybody for watching. I hope it was informative, and I look forward to seeing you all again. Sorry there, I'm tongue-tied. Seeing you all again very soon. Take care everybody. All the best. Bye for now.